Vote session just nothing.
But the agenda that was posted is different?
Oh, no, that's the only thing that's different, right?
Want to call the town council meeting of June 18th, 2024 to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Peterson,
Here.
Councilmember Peak,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Here.
Councilmember Brown, Chair Pro Tem Miles, Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll ask that Reverend Alex Fruda Agum from Fountain Gate. Is he here? Did I say that right? All right, I don't see him. Let's have a moment of silent prayer and reflection, and then we will move into our pledge. Amen. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. All right. Any changes, adjustments to the agenda? Seeing none? Yes.
I would like to add an action item to the agenda. I would like to add an update to town events to include a Pride brunch. This should be item 10C.
Pride brunch. Okay. Pride brunch. Okay. Is there any other additions, changes? Okay. Seeing none. Would you like to make the go ahead?
A second.
So what's the complete motion on the floor? It's a motion to adopt the agenda, adding action item 10C, Pride brunch.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda.
The motion has already been made and second.
There was a motion. I'm sorry.
That was-
Okay.
Okay. All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question, please.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Peak,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next on our agenda is a reread of a proclamation honoring the 90th birthday of Miss Thelma McLaughlin, who was able to make it out today, and we wanted to be able to present this to her publicly at our council meeting. So it reads, whereas Miss Thelma McLaughlin, a cherished and valuable resident of the town of Dumfries, celebrates her 90th birthday. She has graced our community with her presence, wisdom, unwavering spirit of service for many decades, enriching our towns through the multitude of roles and contributions. She served with a distinction on the Dumfries Town Council, the Dumfries Board of Zoning Appeals, the Dumfries Planning Commission, demonstrating her commitment to our town's governance future. She's been a vital force in the beautification and development of Dumfries, organizing the first Town of Dumfries Christmas Parade, spearheading the Dumfries Beautification Committee, and playing a key role in initiatives like construction of sidewalks on Main Street and the building of our post office, which was then new. Her dedication to education and health is exemplified by her 7 years as a room mother at Dumfries Elementary, conducting vision screening for students at Dumfries and Triangle Elementary Schools, and her extensive involvement in the foundation and operations of Potomac Hospital, including serving as a founding member and president of the Potomac Hospital Auxiliary. Her community service extends to organizations like the Quantico Lioness Club, where she was president and honored as Lioness of the Year. Her role as a sponsor of the Dumfries Triangle Little League and her leadership in the Prince William County United Way campaign. She has pioneered as a businesswoman, managing the first integrated restaurant in Prince William County, a founding member of State Bank of Prince William County, and the proprietor of the Bargain Box. Whereas Thelma McLaughlin's dedication to her faith and community is further highlighted by her over 50 years of membership and service as a Sunday school teacher at Triangle Baptist Church, where it says, don't just count your years, make your years count. Mrs. Thelma McLaughlin's life is a testament to this principle, and her presence is a blessing that uplifts our community. Now, therefore, the Town Council of Dumfries do hereby proclaim profound respect and warmest congratulations to Ms. Thelma McLaughlin on the occasion of her 90th birthday. We celebrate her life's journey, her vast contributions to our town, and the inspiration she continues to be for us all. I urge all residents to join us and continue to express our gratitude and appreciation for Ms. Thelma McLaughlin, a true pillar of our community on this momentous occasion. Signed, Mayor Derek Wood, by order of the Town Council.
So glad to see all of y'all tonight here. I used to be an active person, but then I got old. But anyway, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoy the time. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
All right, next is a proclamation recognizing the month of June as Pride Month.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you, Ms. Maris. One second. Thank you. Good evening, citizens. It is an honor to be able to present this proclamation as it is our tradition. One thing that I like to remind everyone is that when Pride first started, it actually was started in Stonewall by an African-American woman, and it actually is tied in with the fight for civil rights. So a lot of times we forget that. When we talk about Pride, it actually has more to do with recognizing humanity than it has to do with anybody's personal beliefs. So I like to highlight that and make sure that we follow that. And here in Prince William County, Equality Prince William has done so much in terms of pushing the ball forward and making sure we recognize the humanity of all our neighbors and our fellow citizens. So it's my pleasure. I'll go ahead and start off with this. Whereas June is celebrated annually as Pride Month to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, a pivotal moment in the LGBTQ+ rights movement. And whereas Equality Prince William strives to foster a community where all individuals, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, can live openly, authentically, and safely. And whereas Equality Prince William works to make Prince William County and the cities of Manassas and Manassas Park a welcoming place for all residents, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and straight. And they are a nonpartisan organization open to anyone 21 years of age and older that is committed to recognizing the diversity of Greater Prince William County by building relationships with businesses and civic groups, community leaders, and the elected leadership. And whereas the LGBTQ+ community has made significant strides in the fight for equal rights, dignity, and acceptance, contributing richly to the social, cultural, and economic fabric of Prince William County. And whereas despite progress, members of the LGBTQ+ community continue to face systemic discrimination, harassment, and violence, and it is imperative to promote a culture of respect, inclusivity, and equality within our community. And whereas Pride Month is an opportunity to acknowledge the resilience and determination of the many individuals who are working towards achieving full equality and to celebrate the diversity and richness of the LGBTQ+ community. And whereas the contributions of the LGBTQ+ community and individuals have significantly influenced and enriched the fields of politics, arts, science, education, business, and beyond in the town of Dumfries. And now therefore, this town council does hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as Pride Month and encourage all citizens to join in this celebration to support the ongoing struggle for LGBTQ+ rights and to recognize the vibrant contributions that the LGBTQ+ community brings to our town. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Dumfries to be affixed on this 18th day of June 2024 by order of the town council signed by Mayor Derek Wood. And I'll ask Ms. Deanna Byer to come up and accept the proclamation, please.
Just a couple words. Because you know how I love Dumfries. I love the town of Dumfries, and I'm very happy to accept this on the for quality of Prince William, because Dumfries has shown again and again that you accept, you bring people together. And I think, as I've heard before, that it's the place to go to, not to drive through. And thank you so much for this. And thank you too for just being a community that accepts.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the June 4th, 2024 town meeting minutes. Tongue twister.
I have a comment about the meeting minutes.
Mhm.
In the minutes, it references, Jerome Jacobs stated that he had, documents in reference to the council approving, the Prince William Estates document. And then when later on in the minutes, it references that during recess, the mayor went to review the documents that Mr. Jacobs referenced. And it was discovered that the documents that Mr. Jacobs referenced were not in fact related to Prince William Estates. However, it mentions in here that those documents were, that those documents were in reference to, it says in the minutes, Potomac Church. So was it Potomac Valley Church or was it Pillar Church, Pillar Community Church?
When the comment was stated, it didn't say specifically. What
Okay,
it was.
I think
It
it's
just
a-
said Potomac Church. It didn't say Pillar.
Well, Mayor Wood, do you remember which
I think I said pillar.
pillar?
I can
It
change it.
sounds like it would have been Pillar Church and not Potomac Church, because we don't have a Potomac, we have
Right,
Potomac Valley. Okay.
I just said it as it was stated, record.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the record accurately reflects what church it was in reference to, and it is Pillar Church in that area, in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So that's it. I just like to make sure that the minutes are updated to reflect that.
Yes.
With that said, I motion that we approve the minutes with that update.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes. All
Motion's passed.
right, next on our agenda is citizen comment period. Are there any citizens signed up to speak today?
Yes, there are 5 people that signed up to speak. The first person is Jerome Jacobs.
To the mayor, vice mayor, council, management of town of Dumfries. My name is Jerome Jacobs, 17866 Lyda Lane, Dumfries, Prince William State. First, I want to say that the home that was destroyed on EB Drive was approved and is all gone. The only thing I have in reference to that is that those homes was built on concrete foundations. Each concrete foundation had tile that was asbestos. I never saw anyone out there checking for asbestos. No one was out there to water the land down so the asbestos wouldn't go into the air. The cars in that neighborhood has asbestos and all over the vehicles, and asbestos cause cancer. And somewhere within that neighborhood, within 10 or 15 years from now, someone is going to get lung cancer from the asbestos. Every home in there has asbestos on the floor, and it was never checked that I'm aware of. I've never seen anyone with white suits checking for asbestos. So that's my first point. My second point is the lights going out in the community on the 10th, I think in Monday a week and a day ago. It went out for 13 hours. No one could enter or leave by walking or vehicle. No one came in to check the residents. We have old residents there. No one gave us water. Public Works, the law enforcement never came in and asked us if we needed help. I have a neighbor named Erica. Everyone know Erica. She went house to house to see that everybody was okay. And I have a personal problem with that. I have a 52-year-old son at home, paralyzed from his torso down. He has a hospital bed, electric hospital bed. They would not let his daycare provider, therapist come in, walk. He wanted to walk in. They would let him in. So Kenny would just call and find out when can he get his therapist. He wanted to get up out of bed. So Kenny laid in bed for 13 hours. I did his hygiene. I did his professional hygiene. I couldn't get him out of bed and put him in his wheelchair. So things just didn't work that day. And we should have had more output from the town of Dumfries to help us in our situation. Those people need water. We had elderly people there. I had one neighbor walk to McDonald's to get lunch for his 3 grandkids that he had in his house because he didn't have anything cooked. No one was concerned. And number 2, with that road closed, what if we had 110 homes in that new development trying to get through? Who would be in charge, Prince William County or Dumfries? And so I'm upset with it. And my thing is this, a lot of our council was in a function in Washington, D.C., not in the town of Dumfries for where the problem was. And I have sorry. We have a town manager, took the place of Chief Rogers. Mr. Manager, you need to fire everyone that was on that trip to Washington and rehire. And if you need information on, you have a town lawyer, you can give you all of the information that you need to rehire. Thank you.
Who's next?
Ken Hoffman.
Okay. Who's next?
Okay, no problem. Joy Nichols.
Hi, I live on Dominion Drive in Prince William Estates, so I have a few things. I'll be really quick. To caveat off of what Mr. Jacobs said, it was actually 14 hours. It was from 5:30 in the morning when that tree fell down on the power lines that affected the entire neighborhood. Again, he said no one in or out, meaning we had kids, some kids in that neighborhood who missed their second to the last day of school. I had teachers, 2 teachers in there who had to climb my fence to get to the car wash to meet an Uber driver to take them. We had 2 families miss their train tickets and lost their train tickets and had to rebook the next day. We also had 3 doctor's appointments, my father included, important ones, that were now canceled. We had meetings, people couldn't go to work. So there was a loss of pay for every single last resident in there. It wasn't 110 residents, it was 110 houses. So if you think about that, average of 3 people living in each house, it was a cluster. Unbelievable. And the trees that were chopped up are in the road now. They're still there on the side of the road, and now they're in the road. So it's impeding traffic. I took pictures. You could see them. They're right there. So the other caveat to that is Washington Street and Duke Street, you're supposed to maintain the easements, the ditches to mow. They haven't been mowed this whole season yet. And those trees up on Washington past Dumfries Dumfries Methodist Church on the left, those trees are hanging over the road. There is erosion on that whole bank where you could stick your whole arm in with all the roots exposed. All it needs is a light rain and all those trees are going to go on those houses across the street, just to let you know. The permit for the demolition was approved. I took a picture of it on the 3rd of June. But I thought on the 4th, when they had the town meeting and the Prince William County meeting, I thought I heard in the recorded thing that you were still holding on the permits, but they were approved the day before on the 3rd. There was one approved on the 2nd and the house demolition was approved on the 3rd. Your town meeting was on the 4th and you were still talking about not approving the permit yet. So I met with Beazer Homes. I met with the land developer who's going to be in charge of the whole project this year. He has yet to hear from a town council member, and he would be the one coming over here with concerns. He's yet to get an email or a phone call. He says he's had no communication whatsoever about any concerns. And they were in there 2 weeks before that getting the permits. He's the one that provided all the information of when the house was coming down. We didn't hear from the town. We heard it from him. So nothing. And he also said he met with everyone here in Dumfries in January, Beazer Homes did, when they bought the approved set of plans. So.
Thank you. Who's next?
Ebony Lofton.
Good evening, council. My name is Ebony Lofton. I live on Milroy Drive here in Dumfries. There's a scripture in Matthew that reads, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul?" We don't need more fireworks and petting zoos. We need leaders who show up for their people. I believe the soul is more about how you treat others, particularly those who you've been elected to lead. I feel for these residents in Prince William Estates. Not only are they dealing with construction and development that maybe they didn't have a full say in, but as they've mentioned, out of power for quite a while. Ice, coffee, sandwiches, something could have been done. There are so many resources in this town now to just care about your neighbors. We hear so much about hear so much talk about focusing on making Dumfries a place that people come to. But it seems that this town council has forgotten about the rest of us who are actually here. And though I'm speaking independently, I want to ask, as a fellow Dumfries resident on behalf of my neighbors, that the town council and this town manager consider, perhaps in town attorney Anderson, I think is here, to declare, as has been done in a couple of previous incidents, a retroactive state of emergency for these residents pursuant to Virginia Code 44-146.21, and perhaps offer the residents of Prince William Estates who would be willing to accept $250 in relief, either for damage, loss, hardship, suffering. And it could come from the unassigned fund. Now, that's only $27,500 or 14% of the town manager's salary. Now, keep in mind, perhaps not as many was affected as others, but I do hope that we continue this dialogue and to continue keeping lines of communication. No one is perfect. I understand the mayor was there and talking to others, but as I explained to the mayor personally, when you visit someone's house for the first time, you bring something. This was an extraordinary situation. So when you come into those homes to check on those people, you got to bring something. You got to care about your folks. That's what this is about. So I appreciate your time and God bless.
Thank you. Okay. Just want to thank everybody for being here tonight and expressing their concerns about this recent power outage over there on Curtis Drive. I want to acknowledge the inconvenience and the frustration caused by the outage. Our town staff, our police department, they responded quickly to secure the area. Dominion Power was on site working to restore the services as soon as possible. Throughout the day, I know I remained in constant contact with our town manager, who updated us on when the issue was resolved and what was going on. I also recognize that we could have done more to support the residents during the outage, such as providing refreshments, checking on individuals. This is an area that we can improve and we probably can improve. Moving forward, I think and you'll hear later on, our commitment to enhancing our emergency response and our communications to really ensure that our residents feel cared for and supported during these emergencies. I understand there is significant concern about the new construction of the over 150 homes that's going to impact the traffic, especially since Curtis Drive remains the sole access route. This situation is challenging, and I know it adds continually to our frustration. Unfortunately, the current layout and infrastructure, we can't provide any additional access routes, and we have to work within what we have. I think our commitment moving forward, despite the limitations that we have, is to continue to find better ways to support and to manage our community's expectations. We're going to try to update our protocols, as you're going to hear later on today, and provide direct support and better communication during emergencies. This includes improving our notification system, ensuring our residents are well informed. Your feedback is continue to be crucial to us, and we're going to continue to keep our lines of communication open and actively seek your input on how we can better serve and support our community. Because I think together we can navigate and continue to build a stronger and better Dumfries. All right. Next on our agenda is the town manager's report.
Mayor Wood, members of council, if I may lead off my report with Mr. Nichols coming up just to discuss the power outage, and then I'll follow with my report.
Yes.
Mr. Nichols.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Town Council. As stated, there was a failure on the 10th of June at approximately 5:40 in the morning. PD responded to that call, notified Public Works, who came out, secured the site, and shut down the traffic coming through. As you know, the power lines were draped across the road, inhibiting any vehicle traffic in or out. There was allowed walking pedestrian traffic along the side, but the way it was being controlled could have been improved on behalf of both the town as well as Dominion Power, who was on scene. Staff did respond at approximately 7:45 when we were notified. So there was some disconnect in the notification system that we are now working on. The code red system needs to be updated to make sure that notification goes out to the citizens, as well as the internal protocols between the PD and Public Works to be notified when something like that's going on. Both Verizon and Dominion had to do work out there. There were 3 poles that were snapped, which brought down both sets of lines across the road. Dominion wrapped up their work at approximately 4 o'clock. Verizon then took over, and after about 2 hours or so, they were opening the street for one-way traffic with flaggers. We had periodically been out there throughout the day from Public Works, checking and monitoring what was going on. There was noticeable foot traffic coming and going, with many people standing around discussing, taking pictures, things of that nature. The tree in question, the main tree, was approximately 40 to 60 feet off of the right-of-way that fell. Based on the temperatures and what we're experiencing right now, hot, dry days, there's a syndrome with trees where you have sudden limb drop. We had one just this evening out in the park behind us. It comes from lack of absorption of water. The trees dry, basically they fail. And it's a known occurrence, and that's what we believe happened there. Again, it's 40 to 60 feet off of the right of way, which is not a typical maintenance zone for right of way maintenance. In the weeks leading up to that, we had gone through, we did some right of way clearing, trimmed some trees back, and it was not observed that there was any issues in that area. Moving forward, we are increasing proactive right of way inspections and maintenance of trees. This is a program that I've been trying to develop and implement since I've been here. The canopy deadwood, there's noticeable amounts in the town that we're going to be trying to reduce over the next few weeks. And again, the emergency notification process, phone trees are all starting to get updated to make sure that not only the internal phone trees are updated, but also with the external partners like Dominion, Verizon, and so forth. The Code Red system, which is used to communicate with the citizens, that system needs to be updated with the change of personnel, and I'm currently working on that as well. As far as relief in those types of areas, we have the hazard mitigation plan that was updated in 22. That's another one that I'm gonna be revisiting and looking at how we could improve our response to neighborhoods like that, where they are shut off, and we do identify that there's a number of locations like that. So again, that needs to be updated, dealing with failed trees, down lines, and blocked access. Any questions?
The trees that got cut down, did the road get cleaned up, or are those trees still in the road? I guess that was a statement made.
The last time I checked, I did not see anything. I will have that checked and have it mitigated. That should have been on the responsibility of Dominion and ABC Tree. But if it's not mitigated tomorrow by them, I'll have staff take care of that.
Vice Mayor.
There are several neighborhoods within the town of Dumfries, mine being one that is cul-de-sac, which I recognize that poses a hazard. In your evaluation of the town, as we look at emergency measures, can you, I know there's not a lot you can do because, I mean, it's just the way the land is, but can we add something to our emergency plan that looks at, in the event that there are emergencies such as that, what do we do? Because there was years ago, before the floodplain was fixed back off of Possum Point Road, we were flooded in my neighborhood and we were stuck in there for hours, an entire day, and we could not get out. So I recognize that nature happens and those things happen, and we get trapped in the neighborhood. And I knew that when I moved into that neighborhood, I was moving into a cul-de-sac neighborhood, and something may happen and I would get trapped in my neighborhood, and lo and behold, it happened. But what can you do? So as we look at emergency measures, can we, see if in the event something tragic were to happen, what could we possibly do for those neighborhoods, or at least identify which of those neighborhoods we have, so that we know if something goes wrong, God forbid, we need to check on those neighborhoods to see what we need to do.
Yes, definitely. With the hazard mitigation plan update, I am going to look at trying to, one, make sure that we know and identify the homes that have critical needs, critical, things with emergency services, stuff like that. But also looking at how can we get into the areas. Depending on the types of situations, we may not be able to get supplies in. So I think a fair amount of this goes to education
Absolutely.
of the people in those areas to be ready for responses. Just my background being military, you always prepare for the worst.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something, it's a learning lesson, not only for the town, but everyone involved, how to prepare for emergency situations like that.
Thank you.
Councilman Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two things, on speaking on this matter here, being a little proactive, moving forward. As I hear the two concerns that happened on Possum Point and the one down here in, Prince William Estates. Can we, set up to where, town manager, can we set up to where the, staff goes around and check? We don't have that many roads within the town, but if we can go around and check every single road to be aware and sure that we don't have any dangers of any other possible trees that may look like they're about to fall over, or, you know, in that sense, to make sure that we're a little proactive. Now, we may have some things that's rooted, and I get that, but if it deems like there's a danger and that this tree may have the possibility of falling within our road, well, the citizens, I would ask if they could let us know if there's any trees that are in danger to your homes. If you can let us know that, because we can't go in everybody's yard. I do understand that, but as far as our roads go, if we can check to make sure that we don't have anything that could potentially fall over into the roads. Next, I'm going to ask if I heard you say that the town periodically checked on Dominion to check the status of that matter at the moment. If we could have someone be on site to where to completion, or if the other option would be to if we can get a periodic update with the DCC, with the Dumfries Citizens Connect, that lets the citizens know that we are at a blockage to where we can't move in at the time. You know, just to that's what it's there for. That's what the DCC is for, to alert the citizens of updates and matters and concerns within the area. And if I would ask if we could moving forward, if there is a matter that we can give periodic updates on that matter. I'm not saying, you know, speak on every hour until it's over with, but something that update the citizen to let them know what's going on the other side, because I can kind of visualize just being in that neighborhood, on both of the neighborhoods that they were speaking of, and not being able to get out, just putting myself in their shoes and not being able to get out. But if I can get an alert to understand what is going on the other side of the fence and what we're doing to mitigate the problem, I would like to see if we can move forward with that. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. That's all.
Yes, so town manager, can you address what we did the day after the goal? Some of your response, what you did?
We actually met with Dominion, made sure we updated all of the contact information as it relates to who received notifications of emergencies. We've also sent notification out to the council. We've sent notification throughout DCC to let them know what was going on. We acknowledge that things could have been done better. There are areas for improvement, and we will be working on those and providing updates to the council via an emergency action plan policy. I'm just trying to remember everything, so I apologize. Yes, the trees are being assessed by our Public Works Department around the town. As Mr. Nichols said, we also are looking at, as well as our floodplain mitigation. So there are things that we will put together in a whole comprehensive policy so that we can attack and address any emergencies as they occur.
Thank you. Councilman Phillips.
It's me to hear what happened. And unfortunately, the act of Mother Nature, these things have happened. All that I can say is, I feel you. I am concerned. A lot of you know it's just not words coming out of my mouth. I have spent a lot of time in this town and with public services in this town, and been out overnight in storms and things like that, and on scene and on call. I do understand. With incidences like this, there is a lot to learn from it. and there's a lot to take forward that we can improve. So I do acknowledge the pain, the hurt, the suffering during those 13 to 14 hours. And as you can see, and as you can hear, we are diligently trying to do the best we can do to improve on that. We can't help natural disasters, they just happen. And it sounds like Dominion Power and Verizon, they responded quickly, and for safety reasons, they had to do what they had to do. So my heart goes out to everyone, and we just hope and pray that nothing like this happens again.
Town manager, anything else you want to address on your report?
Hopefully I'll highlight a couple of things. The department heads and managers had received financial management training on June 11th. We are currently recruiting for a senior customer service specialist in our DMV. Public Works has issued 25 permits during the month of April. And the Recreation and Civic Engagement Department is currently planning to develop our youth council. Mayor Wood, Town Council, that concludes my brief update. If you have questions on the comprehensive report, y'all can just address them to me.
All right. Councilman P.
Town manager, just real quick, just one thing. With the youth council, what ages are we targeting there? Or what, just for clarity? What is it, ages, or I think, what is it, sophomore or something, grade, grade? Just for clarity, because I'm getting that question out and about, and
I will get the ages and the grades to you. I do not have that information in front of me.
okay, no problem. Just something so we all can have when we out and about. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Vice Mayor.
Madam Town Manager, on your report, under the police department, it says host regular community educational workshops. And for this month, there are 2. Can you please tell me about those workshops? I'm interested to know what they were, when they were hosted, how were they advertised? Because I'm not familiar with them. I don't
Ma'am,
remember them being, I must have missed them.
okay. Ma'am, if I may ask our chief to answer that question, Chief? You have the 2 events? Okay. So what I'll do is report back to council as it relates to those 2 events.
Okay, and then when they are advertised, are they also advertised on DCC? Because are these educational workshops for the entire community to participate in? And if so, are they also advertised through our PIO and DCC?
So I'd have to find out what those community events are. Some events are advertised for all of the community to participate. Others are for a specific audience. And yes, we can utilize DCC to advertise these as well, ma'am.
Okay, because I ask that because I remember in the past asking that when the police department have events that we combine our efforts with regard to advertising, because our PIO does a very good job of advertisement, and I don't want our police department events to go missed because they don't have the resource to advertise as broadly as our PIO. And that way they also have as broad an audience using our PIO advertisement so that the community gets to see what's going on from the police department's perspective as well.
I'll make sure it's done, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda is a presentation on health and nutrition, healthy eating on a budget. Ooh. Sorry, I didn't have a name with it.
Good evening, council members and citizens. My name is Diana R. Johnson, and I am a U.S. Army veteran, 26 years of culinary experience, and a passion for food and nutrition. Tonight, I'm going to speak to you on healthy eating on a budget. I will cover comparisons for fast food and making stuff at home. Also, we'll talk to you of ways to shop on a budget. And I will also talk about options for a busy lifestyle. Before I begin, I have a couple of questions for you. How many of you think that it's bland or boring to eat healthy or healthier? Okay. How many of you think it's expensive to eat healthier? Yeah. And are you too busy to eat healthy? Yes, a lot of people say that. And can you eat more than just salads when you're eating healthy? Some people think that eating healthy is just you can just eat salads and that's eating healthy, but there's more to eating healthy than just eating salads. So I did a comparison of fast food options versus homemade making options at home. I looked at the chicken sandwich, French fries, and lemonade. Chick-fil-A, most people eat that from Chick-fil-A. I also looked at burgers and fries from Popeyes, McDonald's, and then I looked at the chicken sandwich from Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. Now, the cost for that is approximately $11+ for those options, right? And then for the calories, it's 1,160 calories. If you eat any of those things, that's a lot of calories. Some people are only allotted 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. So if you eat 1,160+ calorie meal in one sitting, that's more than half of your calories for the day. So making those options at home, if you took a chicken sandwich with potato wedges and had like infused water that's getting fruit and putting fruit in your water, that would cost you approximately $3.35. And that would be 350 calories versus 1,160. Burger with potato wedges and homemade tea, that's about 420 calories. And the cost would be about $3.76. So let's take away the burgers and chicken sandwich and let's make a meal. We can do chicken with rice and broccoli, and that would cost you approximately $3.06 per serving. Ways to shop on a budget. Bulk, you can buy in bulk. You can also get a membership for Costco, Sam's, or BJ's. The membership costs you about $120 a year. That's kind of expensive. But if you break it down month by month, that's approximately $10 a month. What do you spend $10 on in a month wasting, right? Not only do you get cheaper options in bulk, you also get cheaper gas by having membership to those clubs, okay? So it's a benefit. You can also have a plan prior to making your shopping list and create menus for the week or for the month prior to shopping. Make your shopping list, and they always tell you never go to the grocery store what? Hungry, right? You go to the grocery store, imagine this, you go to the grocery store, you're hungry, you don't have a plan, you don't know what you're making for the week. The first thing you do is you get in the grocery store, you're frustrated, right? You're just gonna grab anything that you can get your hands on. You get back home and you're like, why in the world did I grab this? I have nothing that matches. I have this, but I don't have that. What am I gonna make for the week? Then you wind up going to the grocery store again and spending more money, right? There goes your budget. Not a good thing. Set a realistic budget for yourself. Okay, that'll help you from spending excess money at the grocery store. Buy seasonal. Fresh fruits and vegetables that you buy during the season are a lot cheaper than if you buy them if they're not in season. And if you want to buy fresh fruits or if you want to buy fruits and vegetables that are not in season, buy them frozen. Frozen fruits and vegetables are just as good as fresh because they are frozen at the peak of ripeness. So having those frozen vegetables are just as good for you. I wouldn't suggest buying canned vegetables. Canned vegetables can contain a lot of sodium and have a lot of preservatives in them, and that's like your last resort. If you're gonna buy things, buy low sodium or no sodium, and then rinse those items prior to preparing them. And then use herbs. Fresh herbs are a good way to season your food. Stay away from the salt, of course, and add a little bit of salt towards the end of your meal. Adding salt in your food during your cooking process, the food cooks and the sodium intensifies. So that's not a good thing. Just a little bit of salt at the end. Okay, options for a busier lifestyle. Some people say they're busy, so that, dictates them not eating healthier. Prepare your meal or ingredients ahead of time. You don't have to make a whole week's worth of meals. You can prep things. Tonight, I'm having baked chicken. I'm gonna clean the chicken, season it. I'm gonna have these vegetables, prep it. So you can either, if you have Instapot or a crock pot, those things are lifesavers. If those of you who have them know, you can throw everything in your Instapot and put it on pressure cook, and it's done in a quarter of the time, okay? Frozen meals, freeze your meals. Prepare a bunch of meals ahead of time when you have time and freeze them. So when you come home or before you go to work, remove them from the freezer, you come home, boom, zap them in the microwave if that's what you want to do, and you have a meal in minutes. Keep it simple. When you plan your weekly menu or say, okay, I'm going to eat healthier, don't try to create recipes that you see someone who has a lot of experience creating. Just take the recipes or items that you enjoy and just swap out the unhealthy ingredient for a healthier one, and you're more likely to eat it than you would if you prepared something that you've never had before, because you spent a whole lot of money and then all of a sudden you don't like the meal, okay? I say use the crawl, walk, run method. Start off small, your crawling stage, introduce new recipes, you're walking, and then you're running when it becomes a habit. In summary, I would like to say practice makes perfect. Prepare favorite foods, but replace healthy items with unhealthy items, or I'm sorry, swap out the healthy with the healthy with the unhealthy. The unhealthy item, take away, incorporate the healthy item, okay? And have fun preparing your meals. Don't make it seem like it's a chore. If it's a chore, then you won't, when you put love into your meal, your food comes out good. So have fun making your meals. And I'm going to say finally, invest in you. You invest in you, you invest in a good thing. Pending your questions, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation for us, especially because we are a healthy eating, active living community. You've given our community some resources they can run with, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, our next presentation is an update on the Hillard Church project. Mr. Tabor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
And we have a presentation. There it is. Great. Okay, so Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. The purpose of this presentation is to provide an update on the harbor at Quantico Creek project. This evening, no action from council is required. And the town of Dumfries received a site plan application from Community Housing Initiative Incorporated for the harbor at Quantico Creek Independent Living Facility. And uses include 125 age and income restricted multifamily housing units and a separate structure that would include a community center and childcare center. The location is on 3 parcels, 17040 Curtis Drive, 17950 Curtis Drive, and 17956 Curtis Drive. And the first 2 properties owned by Pillar Church, and the third parcel owned by the town of Dumfries. So the town of Dumfries previously approved the master zoning plan December 10th of 2021, and the town council adopted ordinances on January 4th, 2022, approving the rezoning to PMUD, or Planned Mixed Use District, and also approved a conditional use permit. And this illustrates Land Bay 1, which would be the Community Center and Daycare Center, and Land Bay 2 to the bottom, which includes the residential component. This is an illustration of the elevation, proposed elevation for the residential structure. And this is a perspective drawing of the community center and daycare center. So the zoning that was approved includes proffers, and the proffers include Land Bay 1, as mentioned before, the Cultural Arts Center, almost 8,000 square feet, office space, 1,800 square feet, and the daycare facility, again, almost 8,000 square feet, totaling 17,774 square feet, 45 feet in height, and 3 stories total. The residential component is 124,190 square feet, again, 125 units, a density of 16.33 units per acre, and a height of 70 feet or 5 stories. So as mentioned before, proffers were included in the rezoning that was approved. And the proffers with regard to land use include development in conformance with the master zoning plan. The residential use is restricted to ages 55 and over, and a separate structure, as mentioned, that will include a cultural arts center and a child care center. The proposed number of units would be 125. The building location and site layout will be in conformance with the master zoning plan. No portion of any building will be constructed in the Chesapeake Bay Resource Protection Area, or RPA. Sidewalks will connect the 2 buildings. An access easement will be provided for the parcel south of the project parcels. The applicant will construct sufficient parking for the entire mixed-use development in accordance with the MZP and the town code. And the applicant will provide landscape mitigation for Ches Bay Protection Area encroachment compliant with the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation regulations. And a minimum of 80% of the landscaping will be native non-invasive species. The applicant will designate portions of the project property as open space that include recreation and landscape treatments. The applicant will provide picnic and sitting areas as passive recreation, a minimum of 60% open space with wooded and undisturbed areas. So with regard to transportation, the project will be accessed by the existing driveway and entrance on Curtis Drive. The project will include single loading zones for the residential use, and that will be conducted outside of peak periods, and single loading for the Cultural Arts Center and Daycare Center. The entrance will be dedicated to the town as right-of-way in accordance with the master zoning plan. And the applicant will improve the traffic operations at Curtis Drive and Route 1 by installing striping to change the left lane to a left turn only, and the right lane to a shared lane prior to occupancy of the Cultural Arts Center. And that is identified in the traffic study that was done for the project. Also, regarding transportation, the applicant will provide off-site pedestrian access along the driveway connecting the site to Curtis Drive. The applicant will provide high visibility signaled crosswalk with striping at the intersection of Curtis Drive and the driveway accessing the site. The crosswalk shall include signage indicating slow crosswalk and yield to pedestrians or similar signage as requested by the town. the applicant shall utilize solar power panel exposure to the extent possible. In addition, the applicant will add street limit signage in both directions. The speed indicator signs will be located to optimize the sight distance and reduce speeds prior to crosswalk locations. So this is an illustration of the crosswalk with the signage on both sides. And this indicates the locations of the crosswalk, the signage, and the, in red, the signage associated with the speed regulations. And this illustrates the location of the new striping that will be installed at Curtis and Main Street. There potentially will be additional opportunities to address any traffic issues with the Route 1 widening project. And we will certainly explore any opportunities available during that design and approval process. So next steps include the land disturbance permit application review and approval, land acquisition by the developer, finance and tax credits obtained by the developer, building and other construction permits. Then construction would begin. And once construction is concluded, a certificate of occupancy would be approved and then a grand opening. Happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Can you go back to the next step slide, please? Sure. So I'm just confused. Help me understand. So the land acquisition, you have that, that's at step 2. What is that? What is land acquisition? What does that mean? Because I'm thinking that they already have acquired the land. So to me, I'm seeing that they're asking for some permits and then they're gonna come and try to acquire the land. Am I reading that wrong?
No, sir. So currently, the properties are owned by Pillar Church and the town of Dumfries. The developer has purchase agreements with each owner. And once they receive approvals, they will move forward with the acquisition.
Okay. Got it. And then all of the proffers are being paid for by the developer?
Absolutely.
Okay, so every proffer in there has been paid by the developer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually have a question dealing with procedure for this project. This project is actually, I remember when it initially came upon us, I know we approved the CUP in 2021 or 22. I remember Pillar Church presenting this to the town when I was a planning commissioner back in like 2017. So just in terms of timeline for when we anticipate completion or different milestones, has the developer provided that to you? Or, and I do know Pillar Church had some, by them being a small nonprofit trying to get their feet on the ground. I know that they had some challenges there that they were able to overcome, but do we know anything about like timeline when this might take place? I know these are the next steps, but are we looking at another couple of years? Are we looking at another 6 months or so? Like, what are we looking at?
Certainly not 6 months, more like a couple years, several years. Maybe this is 3 to 4 years.
And the land disturbance, is that something that's handled here in town, or is that something that the county actually?
It is administered by the town.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I have for now.
Last question. So are we planning to sell a parcel to the developer? Is that when the land acquisition was?
Yes.
Which parcel?
It is it would be a parcel for parking, and it is to the right or the east. Can you see the long strip of parking?
Yes, I see.
To the right, yes, it's that parcel.
Yeah, no, it's down on the thing, but so that's not owned by Curtis property, that's owned by the town?
Yes, sir.
I think we need, and maybe this would be for the town manager, if she could just get us a list of all like the assets and all the gens, like all the property that we own in town, because I don't think we quite clear on what's ours and what's not. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that update and that presentation.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Council, you guys okay? Y'all need a stretch break? Y'all want to press on? Oh, you need 5? Okay. All right, take 5. All right, welcome back.
I'm not lying.
Next on our agenda is a presentation of our comprehensive plan. Mr. Tabor, the floor is still yours.
Chair Pro Tem and members of council, we have been working diligently to update the town's comprehensive plan. And the town, as previously mentioned and acknowledged, has engaged Roadside Harwell Incorporated, or RHI, to help us with the update. Tonight we have Eric Feldman, Eden Merrick, and others from the RHI team who are with us virtually to provide a mid-year status of the update process. And I'll turn it over to Eric from here.
Thanks, Reggie. Good evening. My name is, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of an echo here. I don't know. I'll try again. Sorry about that. Good evening. My name is Eric Feldman, and I'm an associate principal and urban planner at RHI. And previously, you have met Ron Sessoms, who has been the RHI project manager up to now. And the reason that I am here today is that Ron has moved on to a new opportunity and is no longer with RHI. So I'll be stepping in as the project manager for the remainder of our work. I'm joined by my RHI colleague, Eden Merrick, as well as members of our larger consultant team, Summer Pan from RKG Associates, who has been conducting the housing and economic analyses, and Renato Coletti from RKNK, who have been focusing on transportation and infrastructure. Tonight, we'd like to share an update on the comprehensive plan process and some highlights from what we've been working on since our last update. This includes the status of where we are in our scope of work, a brief overview of our work summarizing existing conditions, which has been our focus, primary focus of late, in addition to public engagement, some preliminary findings from the recent round of public engagement, and then our next steps for continuing our work through the summer and into the fall. Next slide, please. Next slide. And this is the project approach in 4 phases that you've seen before. To date, we've completed phases 1 and 2 and parts of phase 3. Right now, we're refining the existing condition summary and synthesizing those findings with what we have heard through the public engagement process. And looking ahead, we'll be turning our attention to phase 4, which is when we'll begin work on drafting the comprehensive plan document, including preliminary recommended strategies and actions. Next slide. Our review of existing conditions has drawn on information gathered through various sources. We conducted site visits and a series of stakeholder meetings, including meetings with all of you. RKG has been working on and has completed a market assessment and analysis of demographics and housing. We've reviewed the existing comprehensive plan, and our team also conducted a review of transportation, infrastructure, and environmental conditions. These are the 9 elements or topic chapters that will form the structure of the comprehensive plan. We'll now quickly run through some highlights of what we've been looking at related to each of these topics, starting with neighborhoods and housing and economic growth, which Summer from RKG will describe. Summer?
Yes, thank you, Eric. Hi, everyone. Good evening. This is Summer Pan from RKG. Now let's look at some highlight findings from our existing condition analysis of our community. In general, Dumfries there are some positive trends in the community mixed with some challenges. Dumfries is a growing community. By the way, all the data we used here is from US Census. The latest data year available is 2022. Population growth is driven by mostly young people under 25 and seniors age 65 and older. While on the other hand, there's been a decrease in people in the middle in terms of age groups, in mostly prime working age adults and young families. In terms of housing conditions, very tight housing market with low vacancy rate. Some positive trends is that the current ownership housing market is relatively affordable. However, home value growth has been faster than in the county and Virginia. On the other side, Dumfries renters in general face more housing challenges. Medium gross rents actually higher than Virginia level. Also, 60% of Dumfries renter household were cost burden in 2022. This is a higher percentage than both in the county and Virginia. Next slide, please. In terms of economic growth, existing condition and potential, we looked at existing retail in the community. They're mostly along major highways, Route 1, state highways, etc. And they're mostly older and outdated properties. In terms of current use type, existing retail is mostly car-related stores, service establishments such as laundromats, salons, as well as general retail stores. RKG also conducted a potential growth area analysis to look at where are some land opportunities for future economic growth. We identified 3 redevelopment potential areas in the south of the town, which approximate 35 acres. These are most suitable for residential redevelopment because they are currently situated among existing residential neighborhoods. There are also areas around the existing Dumfries Plaza shopping center, and to the north of it, there are several areas, approximately 49 acres in total. Combined, they're most suitable for mixed-use redevelopment. And I will hand it over back to Eric for the next section.
In the comprehensive plan, we'll be developing strategies and actions for land use and livability with a focus on several key opportunities for change that we've identified so far. And these opportunities include the potential redevelopment areas that Summer just mentioned. In turn, redevelopment could also help address some other issues that we've heard about, such as limited connectivity between land uses and destinations, limited retail and dining options in the town, and housing needs, to name a few. Next slide, please. In terms of public health and safety, we're looking at potential facility needs related to police, fire, and rescue. We've also been hearing that access and connectivity issues in the town impede the ability to respond to emergencies. We're also exploring opportunities to accommodate facilities for other services such as health and social services, including those that could help support efforts to address gun violence. With regard to community and education facilities, we're looking at library facilities and hearing that the library that exists now may not be meeting the full spectrum of community needs that could be addressed by a library. We know that the community center is in planning stages now with funding from the Rose development. And we understand that there are some school capacity issues, particularly at the elementary and middle school levels. Next slide. In the comprehensive plan, we'll be exploring ways to celebrate and preserve the town's history and historic resources, while also aiming to identify any additional historic resources or historic narratives that may not have been fully documented to date, such as the town's history as a deep water port. In terms of arts and events, while there are a range of events that are currently held in the town, the Rose development will expand options by incorporating entertainment venue space. Next slide. We're also looking at parks and recreation, and for a small jurisdiction, Dumfries has a strong portfolio of parks and recreation opportunities, and there's more coming soon with the future park atop the capped landfill. Much of the focus in the comprehensive plan is likely to be on enhancing what's already there in terms of parks and recreation and open space, and also improving access to these amenities. Next slide. Next is natural resources and the environment. Dumfries has a wealth of natural assets, most notably Quantico Creek. And we've learned through our stakeholder interviews and other review of information that there's quite a bit happening with regard to environmental issues in the town, from the brownfields funding to Quantico Creek restoration to the geosynthetic cap being installed on the Potomac landfill. And there's also some steep topography we need to look at, which can be both a challenge and an opportunity when it comes to land use and urban design. I will turn it over to our Renato from RK&K, who will talk a bit more about our focus on transportation and infrastructure, starting with stormwater infrastructure.
Good evening. Yes, this is just a short existing conditions stormwater drainage map on the right side of your screen. So a couple of facts about the stormwater in drainage in Dumfries. Basically, all the stormwater drains to Quantico Creek, which is classified as a FEMA Zone A. This is considered a high-risk flood zone with a 1% annual chance of flooding and a 26% chance of flooding over the life of a 30-year mortgage. Some neighborhoods and newer developments within the town feature curb and gutter drainage, which is a more modern treatment. Otherwise, they feature only open graded drainage on the pavement and roadside ditches. Finally, we heard from the town citizens that a 100-year flood has been reported 4 times in the past 10 years. A 100-year flood is a flood event that technically is supposed to happen only once every 100 years. Next slide, please. Here we can see in the map some of the current projects and studies, and also completed ones and also ongoing studies. Starting with the Main Street Small Area Plan, which is the green line you can see in the map. The Route 1 Fraley Boulevard Widening Project, which is the orange line. This project is supposed to start construction in 2027 and be finished in 2031. Then the teal area on the south is a future site of the Dumfries Civic Center. Then the big blue area on the north is a future site of the CDG mixed use development, which will include the Rose Casino. And on the top northeast area, you'll see a red line, which is the future quadrant roadway at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 234. There's also the Potomac Shores VRE station, Virginia Rail Station, which is not here in the map, but it's also expected to impact the town. Thank you.
Great. So now I'm going to give a very brief snapshot of what we have heard from the public. We have completed a range of outreach activities, so thank you to everyone who has participated in those. We conducted a range of, or a grouping of stakeholder group interviews. We also ran an online survey, several pop-ups, and an open house. And through the online survey, pop-ups, and open house, we asked participants the same set of questions, just in different formats. So we were able to compile everyone's responses into the same feedback mechanism. So these slides will just provide a snapshot of what we heard. Participants feel that the best parts of Dumfries are its transportation, parks and recreation, and neighborhoods and housing, as well as safety. And also of note is many of the other responses spoke about finding that the community and neighbors are welcoming and friendly, which is a really great thing to hear and a great thing for people to point out. Some challenges that Dumfries will need to address in the coming years include 3 of the same categories as before, so transportation, parks and rec, and housing, with the addition of arts, culture, and historic resources, as well as economic development. We then asked participants to share one word that describes Dumfries today, and the responses were generally positive. So growing, historical, friendly, community. And then we also asked people to describe what Dumfries would be like in 2044. And so these are some of the responses that we heard repeated more than once. So more things to do and a thriving downtown while also maintaining the small town feel. These are some other ideas we heard from people just in conversation at the open house. They want to see Dumfries attracting local businesses. They want to see more public art, and there's a need for emergency planning. So again, this was just a snapshot of what we heard, and a more detailed summary is one of our next steps. And so finally, next steps. We will spend the first half of the summer finalizing the existing conditions summary and public engagement summary. We'll then merge these findings to identify priority issues and opportunities to be addressed in the new comprehensive plan. This will then serve as a basis for beginning to develop strategies and actions, including any existing strategies that needs to be carried forward into the updated comprehensive plan from the previous one. And so then we'll come back to the public with draft strategies and actions, likely sometime at the end of summer or in the fall. So keep an eye out for us then. And this concludes our update to the council. We are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you for that comprehensive update on where we are and what's next in the process. A couple of things caught my attention. One, you talked about 2 new parks, one being at the Rose, and then the second one at the Ordinary. Can you tell us about this park at the Ordinary? Or is that just something y'all heard that's coming or that we didn't know about?
This came up in conversation with Historic Dumfries folks. It is just in the beginning imaginations stage.
Okay. At the Williams Ordinary, right at the foot of the Rose entrance. It said up here there was a park. So I was just curious at where that was at. Now, one of the things that was concerning to me in the study was in the last 10 years, we've had 4 major floods, which is that 100 years. So if you was to look at 100 years, we're gonna have 40 floods in 100 years. And so I think that, and I'm glad somebody talked about the emergency planning as well. I think we need to look at I don't know if we put it in the Main Street plan when we updated it, but we also need to look at Main Street as an alternative, a major emergency evacuation route. We also have to look at with the flooding, how do we get some evacuation on watercrafts? That's going to require possibly some funding being in there for on Quantico Creek. So we have to look at with the concern of flooding, some alternatives as we do that. So some type of flood mitigation emergency plan. So Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a couple things. First of all, thank you so much for the presentation and this update. Just for consistency stakes, and I know you said that the park with Williams Ordinary, I would feel more confident if that wasn't included as we're collecting data and we're drafting our final document, because that was just a vague conversation that's not really based in anything. So when we talk about the footprint of Dumfries and where we see ourselves in the next 10 to 20 years, we want to make sure we have that as accurate as possible. It's another thing I wanted to make sure that we capture, like when we're talking about things that make Dumfries desirable, when we talk about our school systems, all of our school system is based off of Prince William County, but in addition to Potomac High School, large part of our children attend Forest Park High School, as well as Prince William County has a robust specialty program. So a lot of our high school students actually have the option of specializing in different fields throughout the county. So that's something I definitely wanted to make sure we capture. Other than that, think we're going on the right track. And again, I thank you for your presentation.
All right, thank you all for your updates. And I guess the next steps again for us is there more community engagement or where do we go from here again? Let me go back to that last slide again.
Correct. Yeah. What we'll be doing is getting to work over the summer, pulling together everything we've learned so far and starting to sketch out strategies and actions for the plan and starting to draft the document. And once we have a draft set of strategies and actions, we'll be bringing those back to the public, likely late summer into the fall. And that's where we'll be wanting to get feedback on what we've developed so far, some prioritization of these strategies and actions, and also hear from folks on anything we're missing or that they'd like to see expressed differently in the plan. So that'll be the next focus of the next round of engagement after we do some of our work over the summer.
All right, well, thank you for that thorough presentation. You have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the presentation night on the procurement policy.
Name is Yolanda Bullock, and I'm the procurement specialist for the town of Dumfries. And I am here to give a brief overview of the town's procurement policy that is, as it is scheduled to be approved tonight. The procurement policy has been, as it will be presented, has been vetted by the town attorney for accuracy and language. It's a lot of words, so I'm not going to read every single one, but the purpose of the procurement policy, this purchasing policy and procedure handbook is designed to provide information on the policies, procedures, and guidelines for the town's procurement of goods, services, insurance, and construction. The town's procurement is governed by the Virginia Public Procurement Act, the town's purchasing policy, and the town code of ordinances. The objective, pursuant to Town Code Section 44-1, the objectives of the purchasing policy are to list methods of purchasing to be fair and equitable, and to increase competition while obtaining high-quality goods and services at the best possible price. This policy sets forth the procedures for delegated purchase authority for transactions of $2,500 or less, which is considered a small purchase. The small purchase orders, $2,500 or less, have department level approval. 2,501 or more require at least 2 quotes. 10,000 to 29,999 require 3 quotes. 30,000 to 49,999 require 4 quotes and requests for quotes or requests for proposals. And this is done through our electronic marketplace, EVA. All purchases shall be made in compliance with the VPPA, the town code. This purchasing policy and any other regulations is applicable. These are the different procurement methods as they're outlined. I won't read every single part of it, but this is part of what is established by the state of Virginia. The contract award and signing levels. The town manager or designee is authorized to award and sign all public contracts on behalf of the town up to $200,000. The procurement specialist and the chief financial officer or their respective designee is authorized to award and sign all public contracts on behalf of the town up to $100,000, except for construction contracts. There are methods for addressing a contractor who is in default that involves a multi-step process. Some are informal, such as phone calls, emails, or similar contact to define the default and discuss solutions. If this does not resolve the issue, then the procurement office may issue a written notice with a specific time frame in which to resolve the issues. If the contractor fails to satisfy the notice requirements, the contract may be terminated in writing. Debarment. In the case of default for a failure to deliver or perform in accordance with the contract specifications or terms and conditions, the town may provide proper notice to terminate the contract, holding the defaulting contractor responsible. Briefly, the P-card program is active for the town of Dumfries, and it streamlines the AP process. But it still follows all procurement policies as they're established. Unauthorized commitments. Town officials and employees are prohibited from purchasing or contracting for goods, services, insurance, or construction, except as is provided by this policy and through the town manager, chief financial officer, or the town council. And the last slide outlines the legal actions by bidder or offerer. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for that presentation. I have a question. So is this a new policy or is this an updated policy? And Madam Town Manager, aren't you certified procurement at national level for this? And is this what we're doing here so that there are others within the department who are able to do this work?
Okay, yes, ma'am. First of all, I am certified nationally as well as locally. And Ms. Bullock also is certified locally in procurement as well. This is a policy put together for the town to put more controls on spending, to ensure that we are in compliance with the Virginia Public Procurement Act, and just to make sure the departments know the different thresholds as it relates to spending and what their authorities are.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Next presentation is of the right-of-way. I think this is should be the final presentation. Ladies, you don't have to leave for this presentation.
What'd I say? Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. This is a presentation regarding a resolution accepting land from CDI Virginia Land Incorporated for right-of-way dedication to the town of Dumfries for public street purposes. A little background, the town of Dumfries previously approved rezoning, a site plan, and permits for the construction of the Rose Gaming Emporium, which is currently underway. Access to the facility will be provided via private and public roadways constructed by CDI Incorporated. The public roadway will be Colonial Street from Main Street to the private driveways to the Gaming Emporium and to the park. The town, to ensure that the public right-of-way roadway can adequately accommodate the anticipated traffic volume associated with the development, Colonial Street will have to be both widened to the south and extended to the west. And the property on which the roadway would be widened and extended is currently owned by CDI Virginia Land Incorporated. Okay, so this illustrates the location of the proposed right-of-way, kind of in the pink in the middle, the squiggly line connecting the top to the bottom is the outline of the proposed right-of-way dedication to be dedicated. And you may recall in the image before, kind of the image on the outline on the left, and then the extended outline on the right, illustrating the top and bottom or west and east portions of the proposed right-of-way. And this is the location, east of the park and the gaming emporium and connecting to Main Street on the bottom. Staff recommends approval of the proposed resolution. And following adoption of the resolution, the plat and deed will be recorded and the property will be dedicated to the town of Dumfries for public street purposes. We have with us this evening as well, Ken Hoffman of CDI and Tracy Lohr of Timmons. And we are happy to respond to any questions.
Do we have a timeline on the completion of the road?
Everything will have to be completed by the projected opening, which is August, late August.
Okay. All right. Councilman Pete?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Tabor, does that include the, what they're already doing now as condensing everything to one lane right now at that little section right there? Will that be concluded in that timeline of the opening?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we're going to be looking for that one lane until then, correct? That's what I'm asking.
Wait, are you referring to Main Street?
Yes.
Oh, no. As far as one lane until then, no. The one lane on Main Street currently is associated with the construction of the traffic signal.
Correct.
And work that's associated with that. But that will be concluded well before then.
Okay, is there a timeline on that or estimated anything?
Do you know when the traffic signal or the one lane will be removed?
Yeah, early to mid August.
So we will have one lane going south until then?
Mixing the projects up. You're mixing the projects up. Talking about two totally different things right now.
Thank you.
We'll let Tracy.
I just want to get clear. Are you talking about Colonial Street?
No.
So he's not talking about this at all?
Right.
Okay.
No, we on the right track.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Lohr. I'm with Timmons Group. We're the civil engineer responsible for designing of the project. That includes the work at the intersection. You're talking about the maintenance of traffic plan that has to be put into service while they're building the signal to keep the workers safe and keep traffic moving at a reasonable pace. I know it's an inconvenience, but it will not be long. It'll just be as they're working out front.
Oh, yeah, I understand that they're gonna have to do that. I understand the safety concern. I was just asking, maybe you guys didn't know, if there was a timeline on that part right there.
So that's going to sort of come and go as construction works through its timeline.
Okay.
I see it finishing. What we're hearing from the field is that late July, they should have all of the improvements in place and they'll just be sort of finishing touches, striping, paving, that sort of thing.
Okay, I was just asking, we get a lot of little traffic right there in spots, but you guys do a pretty good job at moving it through. So I'm just a concern, that's all. But thank you again, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tabor.
All right, Mr. Tabor, are you asking us to make a motion on your presentation to adopt the resolution, or is that later?
There's an action item.
Okay, that's what I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you. All right, next on our agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you call for the question, please?
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next is our action item. Consideration of a resolution accepting land from the Colonial Downs Incorporated Virginia Land LLC for right-of-way dedicated to the town of Dumfries for public street purposes. All right, so that's the resolution. We just saw a presentation. Any questions from the council or discussion? If not, I welcome a motion to adopt the resolution. Councilman Pete.
Mayor, I'd like to ask that we move this into motion.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second to adopt the resolution as presented. All right, seeing no further discussion, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson. Aye. Councilmember Pete.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right. Next action item, consider a resolution approving the recommendation of the procurement policy that was just presented before you. Any questions, discussion? Chair Pro Tem. I'm sorry, Councilman Fields.
Make motion that we consider resolution improving recommendation of approval of the procurement policy.
Second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, it's been it's been motioned and second. Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson. Aye. Councilmember Pete.
Aye.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next on our agenda, Councilwoman Peterson, Pride Brunch. The floor is yours.
This item will be to add a pride brunch to the town events. We will be hosting an event on June 30th to celebrate the LGBTQ members of our community.
Sorry, give me that date again, please.
June 30th.
30th. Okay. Any discussion, any questions? So you're doing that in the form of motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I move.
I moved. This item will be added to add a pride brunch to the town events.
Okay, it's been moved
Second.
and second. All right, any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Pete.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next item is a closed session discussion. The Town Council of Dumfries desires to go into closed session, meeting pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1, Alpha 4, and Alpha 8 of the Code of Virginia to discuss the consideration of personnel matters, including the assignment and performance of specific public officials, appointees for the protection and privacy of individuals, personnel matters not related to public business, and to the extent required by these discussions, and to consult with legal counsel for the provision of legal advice related to specific matters. It's my motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson. Aye. Councilmember Pete.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed and we are now in closed session.
All right, we'll meet back there at 9 exactly. See you in 9 minutes. In accordance with 2.2-3712 Code of Virginia, to the best of each member's knowledge, that only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirements were discussed, and that the only such public business matters were identified in a motion by which the closed meeting was convened, heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson. Aye. Councilmember Peak.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
We are now back in open session.
All right, nothing to report. At this time, the meeting is adjourned.